Do you think this is rich? Or is this? How about this? If you think rich people have to look the same, then you are very wrong. This man not only keeps everything a secret happening within his country, but also his lifestyle. We're talking about North Korean leader Kim Jong Un. Now you might think he's the head of a country, but even though his country has never been famous for being rich, so he himself must certainly have a standard of living above the average person. But then you have not properly imagined the luxury of Mr. Kim Jong Un. North Korea's leader can be said to be rich from the beginning. The Kim family is said to own huge assets thanks to controlling the country's natural resources and minerals. People whisper that there are countless investments abroad, including many luxury real estate in Singapore or Hong Kong. But the main thing is that wealth must come from Mr. Kim's control of North Korea's economy. You know, Mr. Kim Jong Un is the head of both the party and state of Korea. He is the third generation in the family leading the country, following his father, Kim Chin Nhat, who also succeeded his father, Kim Nhat, becoming the founder of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in 2018. Forbes magazine estimated his assets to be about $5 billion, ranking 36th among the most powerful people in the world. However, the number $5 billion is pure speculation based on scant data collected. North Korea is said to have more than 200 foreign bank accounts around the world in countries including Austria, Russia, Singapore, China, and Switzerland. However, this information has not yet been confirmed from any official source, so some opinions even believe that Mr. Kim's real assets must be up to $1,000 billion. If so, then where does he spend that huge fortune? This is of course his money for luxury items such as yachts, private planes, supercars, etc. Mr. Kim is said to often go on vacation to the most luxurious places, Switzerland, where he spent a long time studying abroad and has a huge fortune that allows him to travel. Just the type of successful person with a career path. Every time he goes, Mr. Kim Jong Un always has a group of guardians, including armored limousines, helicopters, but those things are nothing compared to the real estate properties believed to be owned by him. The Korean leader seems to be the owner of not just 1 or 5 but up to 17. His majestic mansions in the country are all equipped with the strictest security systems, such as a system of secret tunnels and elevators, the inside of which is dazzling and filled with luxury items. From antiques to works of art to furniture that the eunuch had to give up, and even a home theater. His main residence is a villa in Pyongyang, also known as Villa Number 55. It is believed to have been built by the North Korean army in 1983 during the reign of leader Kim Il-sung. It is not only famous for its 1,000-seat cinema hall but also for every other convenience you can think of. The villa also has a shopping center, underground commander for wartime service. The statues are covered with a thick layer of iron and concrete in case an enemy country tries to grow mushrooms in Korea. Surrounding the villa are electric fences and checkpoints. Strict in general, you will not be able to set foot in Mr. Kim's private house unless you are a special guest. Villa number 55 is also connected to other mansions or Villa number 26 through a tunnel from Mr. Kim's private house. Junun can move completely secretly by an underground railway. But he only stops at majestic villas. Mr. Kim is said to own an entire island. A few photos taken from above show a resort on an island in North Korea where Mr. Kim enjoys the world's best quality food and drink in leader Kim's villa with personal yachts, ski suits and beautiful houses. Guest house in 2013, Mr. Kim, a big fan of basketball and rugby, welcomed legend Dennis Rodman here at that time. The former NBA star described the life of Mr. Kim, whom Rodman considered being a best friend, is like a 7-star party with never-ending drinks and games. And let's hear what Rodman has to say. It's like a Hawaiian island or Ibiza but where it's just him. There are about 50 to 60 people with him all the time. Those are normal people. They drink and laugh all day long. If you want to try a shot of tequila, I'm sure it's the best shot of tequila. Whatever you want in the world, he has the best quality. Besides, he also has a 60-meter long yacht. It's a combination of a ferry and a boat with a bit of a Disney feel. Yes, mention it. Boat. Mr. Kim used to own a yacht to go to the eastern part of the previous dynasty within 10 days according to a photo that the Korean Central News Agency published. That vehicle is said to be the Princess 95 model yacht owned by the Princess Judge Group. French luxury goods manufacturer LVMH manufactured the 98 Mi model, which is an improved version of the 95 Mi. Estimated to be worth $8.6 million at that time, Mr. Kim's style was also shown in a series of photos published by the Central News Agency as his personal plain chamois is a Soviet-made Ilyushin 62M on a white leather sofa. He reads documents from a shiny rosewood table next to the crystal ashtray. At the same time, there is often a view through the glass window. When talking about airplanes, it is impossible not to mention Mr. Kim's huge fleet of cars. For example, during the trip to Vietnam to attend the second US-North Korea summit, Mr. Kim went from Dongdaeng Station to Hanoi in a Mercedes-Benz S600 Pullman World worth $1 million. In addition, there is a Maybach 62H running right behind this large luxury sedan that always appears with the car carrying the owner. President of North Korea on several occasions. The world media currently does not have information about the exact mission of this car, but the most mentioned hypothesis is that this is a backup model for the S600 Pullman World when. The reason is because these two car models have similar size, shape, and vehicle structure. If the US president always uses two identical Cadillac 1 cars on trips, then the two cars of the leader in the past, there were differences. Leader Kim Jong Un seems to like Mercedes limousine models. In addition to the above two Mercedes cars, in early February 2019, Mr. Kim was reportedly seen using a Mercedes Maybach S600. The latest bulletproof version moves around Pyongyang. Not only is he a fan of Mercedes limousine models, Mr. Kim Jong Un also uses Rolls-Royce Phantom supercar models. This car was used by Mr. Kim during the ceremony to welcome foreign ministers. U.S. chief in Pyongyang in October 2018. In the world market, Rolls-Royce Phantom long wheelbase is produced in limited quantities and is often equipped by the British car company with features according to customers' personalized needs. Order inspired by his school days in Switzerland, Mr. Kim ordered the construction of a world-class ski resort in North Korea. He spent New Year's Eve here and was very satisfied because everything was impeccable. This is a $32 million resort with 171 kilometers of slides, a hotel, a direct parking lot and a cable car system. This theory is expected to be an attraction for foreign tourists to come here, to attract foreign currency to the country. Of course, much of the above information is just conjecture or told by defectors, but from the undeniable images we also realize that despite the bans of the Hwang, the West is suffocating North Korea, but Kim Jong Un will still get what he wants.